What's up, guys? Today on New Game Spotlight, we're checking out Stray Blade. Now, Stray Blade is a Souls-like action game, but with a very unique art style. And it's that art style that first jumps out at you when you look at the game. Point Blank Games has a clear art direction, and a strong one at that. This game reminds me a bit of Kingdoms of Amalur and Phoenix Rising in that art style. The world is colorful and vibrant, with a bunch of different biomes, including ice caverns, lava pits, dense forests, a beach area, even broken down castles and cities. You travel around with your companion Boji, who looks kind of like a cutesy fox type character, and the armor sets you have options for are incredibly bright and colorful, but you can also make them dark. There's lots of options there. This is an extremely welcome difference in a gaming space usually reserved for dark and gritty art styles. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my dark fantasy. Skyrim and Elden Ring are among my favorite games of all time. But there is something decidedly refreshing about a Souls-like immersing you in a world of vivid colors and wildlife, of bright and cheerful saturation, acting as a convincing juxtaposition to the intense and brutal combat. As Souls-like continues to develop as a genre, it's important that the aesthetic grows and expands as well. Stagnation is the killer of many a good thing. And personally, I find this art style endearing and evocative. It makes me want to explore and see what emerges around each corner. Now, Elden Ring was one of the best games I have ever played in this regard. And while I refuse to put any game, including Stray Blade, in that same camp until it's proven itself, however, Stray Blade does evoke something in me that reminds me of that awe-inspiring quest for exploration that Elden Ring and even Skyrim possessed. Stray Blade is an action-adventure where you play as a rogue adventurer exploring the ancient valley of Akria with your companion, the wolf thing Boji. Unveil the history of the Forgotten Valley, master the powers of the three Akrian metals to restore balance to a war-torn land. Once again, Stray Blade attempts to take something from the Soulsborne style of gameplay and flip it on its head. Where stories like Dark Souls or Elden Ring or Bloodborne are prolifically told through small cryptic cutscenes and item descriptions and such, Stray Blade has a more in-your-face narrative, with your companion Boji acting a large part of the narrator. And we'll come back to this guy later, but he plays a big part in both the story and gameplay in Stray Blade. He's even the one who brings you back to life when you die.
Fellow adventurer are now bound to this valley by the stone in your chest. There is someone who can remove that connection, though the way to him is long and hard.
We all leave this place. Together.
Now in this story, you embark on a journey to discover both the land of Akria and its ancient legacy, attempting to find out why this once peaceful valley turned into a swath of war and death. You hunt down relics guarded by great enemies in order to restore peace that is now lost. In Stray Blade, one of my favorite aspects that the devs are including is that the world changes based on what you do. If you die, you don't just start over, you're brought back to life, and whatever you did, whatever you accomplished, will reveal itself through changes in the world based on those actions. So if you went and killed a bunch of enemies at a camp and you die and then you come back, that camp might be empty, it might be covered in new enemies, it might be a settlement where people are starting together. There's all kinds, it just can change depending on what you do, and I think that is incredibly fascinating. As we all know, the most important part of any Souls-like is the gameplay. In Stray Blade, you customize your character fully, both from their appearance and their skill set. Stray Blade has perhaps the best fashion Souls in a game to date. You not only get a multitude of different armor sets, but you can customize each piece, changing the range of colors on it. If you watch the trailers, I see oftentimes they have like 3 different sections where certain parts are connected to that, and each one you can change the color of, and they have a whole range of colors. So you have a lot of customization. The fashion in this game is gonna be ridiculous. I also personally like most of what I saw armor-wise. I'm not a huge fan of that kind of colonial style that they've used for a lot of the gameplay. That's just not my cup of tea, but most of the sets I've seen are on point. They have a cool like night one, they have like a cloak and hood, they have all kinds of different armors and helmets and stuff, and I think they look awesome. On top of the armor customization, there are at least 30 weapons to choose from, each having its own special finisher attack as well as its own moveset. These weapons have quite the range. We see dual blades, two-handed swords, axes, maces, two-handed variants of axes and maces. It's like a halberd, a sword and shield, among many others. Now, I haven't seen any range weapons in the trailers, so I'm not sure if those are included or not. We'll just have to wait and see when it comes out. That said, both dodges and parries play a huge part in combat. You dodge in multiple different directions to open up windows, and if you parry, your opponent gets knocked back, opening up for an attack from you. So you parry and riposte and get quick attacks in to knock them down or take a quick kill. One thing I do love is that somehow through this game you increase your bond with Bojji. We're not entirely sure how that is, but the stronger that bond is, the more involved in the fight he becomes. So in the beginning, he might start by kind of jumping on their face and blocking them from seeing you, and then kind of gives you a window to hop in there and take them out. But as you increase that bond, then he'll start doing other things like flashing a big like light magic or something to distract them all, and then you can attack them. Or even later on, he might blast them with magic, knocking them back, even killing some of them. This is really cool. It's something new and different to this genre that I haven't seen before, giving an option to help out encounters where you're not sure what to do. If you maybe go somewhere else and increase your bond, then when you come back, he'll help you out more and give you a better option. It's almost like a continuous spirit from Elden Ring, right? And I just think that's really cool. It's something new and different, and I really like the idea. We'll have to see if it works well, but the idea is really cool. As always, we'll need to get the feel for the combat to know if it's gonna work. Souls-likes have to have strong feeling combat. There has to be impact, there has to be a tightness to it. The hitboxes have to be accurate, right? I mean, if you ever play a Souls-like where the hitboxes are too big, it just messed up. It doesn't feel good, it makes it feel janky, because if it looks like you're out of their swing and somehow you get hit, it becomes unfair. And the whole thing about Souls-like is it needs to be tough but fair. If it's not, the game's ruined. And so we'll have to see if they hit that. It looks good on the trailers. It looks like it has impact, but we'll have to wait and see for sure when it comes out. This is an RPG. It's you level up, you strengthen your character, there's skill trees, there's all kinds of stuff. So one of the cool things that they're showing in this is that there is a massive skill tree or talent tree, I'm not really sure which one they call it, for your character. But there is also one for your companion Bojji, and you level him up differently as well. So you gain levels and stuff in the normal ways, at least as far as we know. where you level up through fighting, you open up options in your skill tree by doing certain feats or challenges, it looks like. And as you gain experience, you level up, and as you do these challenges, you open up options, and then you spend those, talent points or skill points or whatever on these different moves and upgrade your character, right? Fairly standard, but the tree looks really cool. So hopefully that's really engaging. It looks fun. I like it. But you also increase Boji, and the way he levels up his tree is that you find lore around the world, and as you find that lore, he levels up, and then you can spend points on his skill tree. I love that idea. Multiple reasons, and you probably can see them too. One, I love that you get to level him up and get some choice in how he affects the game. I also love that they made him level up in a different way. So it's not just gaining experience or every 5 levels or something like that, but by making it a lore-based thing, that as you find lore throughout the game, it gives you another reason, it gives you another motivation for exploration. And that to me is a hallmark of a good open world game. Now, I'm not 100% sure that this is fully open world. It might be open zone. I think it's an open world game, but we'll have to see for sure. I can't remember if they've said that. But I love the idea of having reasons to explore. On top of finding lore for Boji, they also include blueprints and crafting materials that you can use at a blacksmith to create new gear, crafting more and more powerful weapons. I'm assuming you can probably upgrade the gear you have. I don't know if that's just weapons or armor included. It specifically talked about weapons, so I know that is there. I'm not sure if you can upgrade armor as well. I'm just assuming you can, but we'll have to wait and see for sure. But again, so as you're traveling in the world now, you have multiple reasons to explore, whether getting stuff to upgrade your character, getting new weapons, or simply finding lore to upgrade Boji. All of it starts to offer it. Now, hopefully they follow Elden Ring's example and put things in little hideaways or cubbies so that you are constantly finding things and are rewarded for that exploration, and they're not all just in a chest behind a door in a dungeon or something. We will not know that until we get to play, but here's hoping. All of this is right up my alley. This game looks so good to me. I'm super excited to explore the world, to test out combat, to find a build that I like, to find weapons that are fun to play, and armor that looks cool and also gives good stats. I love that stuff. So I am really stoked for this game. Now, Stray Blade is created by Point Blank Games and published by 505 Games. Point Blank has only made one other game that I could find, and it's called Shock Tactics. You can find it on Steam. It's like a space game, kind of. Unfortunately, that title doesn't have very good reviews or reception on Steam. That said, Shock Tactics was released about 6 years ago in 2017, and it seems like it was developed by just 2 guys. So it was pretty small, right? As far as I can tell, the best I can find, it looks like they now have like 26 employees. I'm not certain because most places, including their website, say they have 11 to 50. I don't know what that means. How do you have 11 to 50 employees? Like, wouldn't you have a certain number of people? How do you not know? So I'm not entirely sure what that means. But if you look it up on their website, they have pictures of their workers. And if that's accurate, which I have no way of knowing that it is for sure, but if it is accurate, there's 26 of them. Now, obviously that's quite a bit bigger than 2 people. So hopefully that means they've been growing and doing a lot. I mean, the game looks really good. So hopefully it comes out well. Now, the publisher is 505 Games, and 505 is not an unknown group. Right? They've published games as big as Death Stranding Control. They've done indie stuff like Bloodstained Ritual of the Night or Portal Knights. Now, of course, as a publisher, they're not making the game, and we don't really know how much they may have say in the game. Maybe none at all, right? Every development and publisher relationship is a little bit different, and contract signed and all that stuff. Typically, though, if the publisher isn't the same company as the developer, where they do all in-house, they don't have a whole ton of say in the way the game's made, right? They may say, hey, we think you should do this. This will sell better. But they don't typically have control over how the game is made. That said, looking at their track record does kind of tell us the eye they have for talent, the eye they have for a good game. And while I'm not a big fan of Death Stranding, a lot of people are. I haven't played Control. It looks pretty cool, but I haven't played it. But I know a bunch of people who love that game. Bloodstained was a great game. I spent like 30 hours. I played all over that game. I loved it. So there's a lot of range there of different titles and a lot of really good ones. And so that makes me feel like 505 has a pretty good eye for what's a good game. And so then that gives a little bit of confidence towards Straightblade. So yeah, so that's just something to know. You may think differently, let me know what you think about that, but I think it does give a little bit of hope for Straightblade. Now, Straightblade launches globally on April 20th this year, 2023. It's coming out for PS5, the Xbox Series, Steam, and Epic Games. So it's kind of hitting most main platforms, right? It's not going to Switch. The art style makes me think it might do that later, but I'm not certain of that. So we'll have to see. But yeah, it's pretty exciting. April is not that far away. That's just next month. We got so many games coming out. There's no way you're going to play them all. So you got to pick and choose, but keep that on your radar.
Together.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure, if you did, you hit that like button for me. It helps out a ton. It means a lot to me. So, it's an easy thing. Hit it. It's free. That's good. Also, if you like the look of this game, make sure you hop on like Steam and wishlist it, or I'm not sure if it's up on Epic, but wherever you can find it and hit that wish list. That just helps out any developers, and so you want to make sure you're doing that. Even if you're gonna wait for a sale or something, just consider hitting it and putting on your wish list. That just shows other publishers and stuff that their games are wanted and worth investing in. So make sure you do that. Also, if you enjoy videos like this, consider subscribing. Maybe you like others. I make videos every week, and there's lots of different kinds, but it could be fun. Come hang out. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Have a good one.